Welcome in, everybody, to the first edition of the Coach's Corner 2021 season. I'm Joshua Cook, managing editor of VYPE Media, joined by Dennis Silva II, who also writes for VYPE Media here. We have two special guests who will join us throughout the entire season of Texas high school football. James Williams of those Fort Bend Marshall Buffs, as he's got that one of those state runner-up trophies in the background right there as his decoration, and Sean McDowell of the Foster Falcons. Well, coaches, first week of Texas high school football, excited to get it going. I know for some it's the first day of school, so there's all madness in that, but it's got to be exciting that the feeling is here, the football is back.
Well, definitely is. These kids have been working all summer, working all spring, and looking forward to this year, especially the seniors, looking forward to the opportunity to play their season and have some fun and lead their football team. So we're definitely excited about it. We've been in school for about a week and a half now, have gotten coordinated with practices in school and, getting their academics taken care of. So we're excited to get going this week for the first game.
Yeah, I haven't been as this excited in a long time, especially based on last year. So it's really great. Today's our first day of school on this Monday, and so get to see all the guys, looking all pretty and stuff for their first day of school. And, we're just trying to figure out what our new routine is now, because we've had, we had summer practices, and now we're getting to like the real routine of what will carry us throughout the semester. So we're excited to get going.
Awesome, coaches. So I just want to start off with this. Coming off the summer and the off season, you're going into week one. Coach Williams, Marshall has Eisenhower this week. Coach McDowell Foster has Lamar Consolidated week one. What is your favorite week one memory through your careers? And Coach McDowell, I'll start with you.
That's a great one. I think I don't know if it's a good memory, but I remember my first game as a head football coach at Willowridge, and we played Bush. And so that, I think you can't prepare for anything like that. I think as an assistant, you get excited and stuff, but as a head coach, and you go to your first head coach, as the first week and first game as a head coach, there's so many nerves and stuff like that. And we were fortunate to play Bush, who was really, really good at the time, and they took it easy on us and beat us 44-0. So I appreciate that, Coach Allen Aldridge. I'm like, dang, man, 44. But I think he took it easy on us straight up. So I don't know if it's a good memory, but that kind of sticks out in my brain as a head coach. Like, man, I didn't know if we were ready, but we sure got there and played the game. Yeah.
What about you, Coach Williams? What's your favorite week one memory?
Actually, my favorite was kind of recently. I don't want to go back to my first. The same thing. We played when my first game as a head football coach was in 2010, and we played a Kane team that ended up winning state the following year, and they it might have been about 44-0, about the same thing. They got us pretty good, but last year we had a great first game against Elkins. It came down to the very last play of the game. We ended up winning 7-0. And as time ran out, they threw a fade route into a corner. They had a 6'5" or 6'6" receiver on my 5'9" corner, and we were fortunate to knock the ball down and get a win. So that was a great way to start the season, get that last play victory last year over Elkins. And definitely wasn't fun going through it, but now this is over and we got the win. It was definitely a memorable game.
Yeah, I can tell you last year we scored 79 points on Lamar Consolidated. I do not think that'll be the case this year, but that was a pretty good memory last year too. That kind of sparked my memory when you said that. Yeah.
As coaches, as you get more into your careers, does the anxiety or the excitement or the nerves, does that ease at all when you go into week one?
No,
still the same.
I think more as you get into it, I think a lot of it comes down to, do we have everything, in place? Do we have our process in place? Is everything in order? Because you never want to miss anything. And sometimes when you're doing it so long, some of it just becomes like, oh yeah, we're supposed to do this. And so I think it just comes down to every year is different, and you just hope that your processes and your program is in place to get things done. But the checklist kind of remains the same for it all. And at the end of the day, it's still getting a bunch of 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds to play a game. And that even though they played a bunch before, it's like the first one is like they ain't never done it before. So it's a lot of pressure,
Yeah, I agree with Sean 100% with that. If you're not getting nervous or anxious about games coming up, I don't care how long you've been coaching, you may need to do something else, but they're definitely still there for me. And Definitely anxious because, like Coach said, any different guys every year, different team, you got different goals and, your expectations are the same. You want to have success, you want to get your team prepared, but there's always something that comes up there. Us being as head coaches, there's never a same day. There's never a blueprint or a book to say, okay, this day this should happen, this should go this way, this should go this way. It's always different every year, different kids and different situations, but definitely still get anxious. My big day is Monday. Monday is so busy for me and so active. I get anxious about Monday just to get everything done and prepared from the weekend to get ready to practice that day because it's the first day of practice for that weekend, preparing for that opponent. So my Mondays are pretty hectic, but definitely get that anxiety, definitely get that tension and that go is definitely always there.
Both of you coaches have programs with high expectations, high standards, cultures there, winning is expected. I want to ask you, how do you balance handling those expectations year in and year out? And you mentioned 15, 16, 17-year-olds understanding, what you want out of the program, what's expected out of them. How do you balance that? How do you handle that? And how has that evolved in the way you handle that throughout your coaching career? Coach McDowell first.
I think as just like the players get better every year, I think coaches and especially head coaches, we get better every year. I get more comfortable on stuff. So like this is year 10 as a head coach for me. So in year 9 at Foster. So like there's a lot of things that are already in place. So to be honest with you, this is our 4th quarter of our year. So like our year starts in January where we try to instill the discipline, the expectations, and teach them what the standard is through off season. And then spring football is kind of like our 2nd quarter of the year. Then we transition to summer phase, which is summer conditioning and 7-on-7. So the foundation ain't laid now just because it's football season. It's already been built prior to this. So it's not like we're really installing anything. Like we've already got these expectations. We're inspecting it now. And like this is what we're talking about. Because the seniors won't be with us after this year. So they move on in January. So really we graduate kids a semester early almost every year. So this is our 4th quarter of our year. So all the things that we've done prior to it is the time. So now we can just concentrate on football and see if what we've been doing works.
Yes, sir. And for us over here, we when that publicity comes and that limelight comes to you, we try our hardest not to think about it. You want the kids to enjoy it. You want them to enjoy, these days with social media, everything's blasted everywhere. So kids are having a good time. They're seeing themselves on social media and all the good things they're doing. But, inside our field house and with our team, we're always talking about getting better every day. We're not talking about, hey, we're going to, our goal every day is to win a state championship. No, our goal every day is to get better. We get better every day, every week, versus every opponent and progress to where we're prepared when we get to the playoffs and prepared to make that run and do what we do down there. But, we just kind of temper those expectations of it's here and now. We don't take care of now. If we don't take care of this week, then we're going to take steps backwards and not towards the goal. And so that's pretty much the biggest thing we do is everything is now, today.
Along that same line, is it tougher to establish the culture and the expectation and the standard, or is it tougher to sustain that?
In my opinion, that it is easy to build a culture.
Okay.
It is way harder to keep it because there's so many different factors that go into it. I think you have a standard, you meet the standard, but who is involved in that standard changes yearly as far as coaches and kids. So it's almost like indoctrination, like all the time, and so you can't get tired of doing certain things. You got to have some non-negotiables. I have some stuff that I'm super OCD about and I'm just not going to change. It's the way it's going to be. I think sometimes it's not always black, sometimes not always white. There's some gray in there and you got to live in a little bit of that. But the standard is the standard. I think you can't waver on some stuff, but it's definitely harder to keep it, because it changes every year.
Absolutely. And to stack on top of that is, you have sometimes to deal with kids that come in and think, I'm on varsity now, we're just going to go and win, try to live out other people's success, and they can't do that. You got to start from the beginning, start from scratch and develop and earn the right to have the success that teams before you have. You want to definitely avoid that complacency with it and that just I'm going to show up and I'm going to win mentality. No, we're going to start from square one. We're going to work our tails off, and we're going to get better so you can have that same success. And, like I said, Coach said, you have new coaches that come in every year, different classes coming in every year, and they got to earn it,
Coach, both of you guys will have new quarterbacks this year. Coach, Coach Williams, your guy is going to be Jacoby Banks, a junior. Coach McDowell, you're still going through a quarterback situation. JT Fayard and Landon Godwin, a couple juniors battling it out. Handling that position and how it can affect young men, and obviously they're fighting for a starting spot. They want to be that guy. Coach Williams, what did you see to where Jacoby kind of stood out right away and like he met your expectations? And then Coach McDowell, I want to go to you after Coach Williams, and ask you, what's that battle been like? How do you handle that as a coach with young men who want something so badly and are fighting for it and competing for it?
Well, for us, we've been fortunate. Jacoby, we knew when he was in 7th grade, our feeder program, he was always coming to Marshall and always excited about being a Marshall buff. And he's a leader. He's always been a leader, even in middle school. And so coming up, we knew he was going to be something special. And so as freshman, he played freshman football as a quarterback there. Last year, he was a backup quarterback, also played some receiver, but still a leader even when he was not the guy. And so now having him step in as a junior to lead the team, he's your ideal of what you want to represent your program. He's a great kid in the school building, academically strong. In the field house, he's the first one always here, last one to leave. He's always working. Sometimes you got to calm him down because he gets on his teammates so hard because he wants it so bad. It's a good thing. Got to calm him down as opposed to pick him up. But he really does show that leadership traits and the ability to lead our team. So we're excited for him to take over as quarterback. And we have another quarterback as well that we're going to hope to get some reps in there and play as well. We always like to have guys in line and guys ready to go at any moment, especially with the times how they are these days. And, whether it's injuries or whether it's COVID or whatever, you always want to have guys ready to go. So, again, Jacoby Banks, he's a natural leader. He's going to get after it. He's going to go. He's going to compete, and he's going to push the guys around him to compete. So having that at your quarterback position is the ideal situation that you want.
I speak the same sentiment. We are a quarterback-driven offense. So like how we just don't get to hand it off and watch the running back go. We got to do all kinds of things. So playing quarterback for me is a big deal, just like it is for Coach Williams there, and pretty much probably everybody, to be honest with you. But for us, we've been able to have 2 juniors in JT and Landon that have been battling it out. I mean, these guys have been hitting it for almost a year now, and we're at the tipping point of where we need to make a decision. I'm not really a 2-quarterback system guy. So somebody's going to have to rise, the cream will rise to the top. But ain't necessarily about cream. It's going to be about who's the best to lead our team. Who is going to be the one that we could win in big games. And we expect both of them, and they have both sharpened each other's sword. I think the competition has been fierce, probably one of the fiercest I can remember in years. They both bring a different dynamic to them. But they also, there's also so many different aspects to be starting quarterback for us. Like you got to be able to win the coaches, and you got to be able to win the locker room as well. I mean, the guys got to want to play for you. And so there's a little bit of that unspoken like culture, mental game working too. As far as you never want to. You want those guys to compete, but you don't want to discount. Like you didn't lose anything. You know what I'm saying? Right. This guy might have became the starter, but it's not like you lost the job, because I believe that competition should happen every single day. Now, when we do decide on who is going to start, that guy will get a vote of confidence and a longer leash, but you can't go out there and be terrible now that you won the job. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always going to continue on, and that's what we want for every position on our team. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. I wish, I think we got a Mr. Banks on our team somewhere. We just got to find them and let them loose. But I'm really excited about both of them. They both made our team really great, and we're looking forward to see what happens this Friday.
Awesome. Last question for both of you coaches. We're getting to a little bit semblance of normalcy now. COVID had a huge effect on the season last year, cancellations, postponements, what have you. Now it looks to be getting in the right direction, but still around. What did you all each take away from last season, going through what that effect had on your teams as players, especially maybe mentally? And also, are you still concerned about COVID's effects going into this new season? Coach Williams, start with you.
We're definitely still concerned about it. We were fortunate last year to play through the season and didn't have any issues as far as forfeiting games or anything like that with because of COVID. But it's definitely a concern, and we're taking precautions. It's still out there, and I tell our kids every day: if you want to play your season, we got to take precautions. You got to. We can't make them wear masks. We can recommend it that wear a mask, and we can meet and we still do things where we're separating the varsity and the JV players and lifting and things like that, meetings and because it can happen, and cases come up on your team, and you want these guys to be healthy first and foremost. You want them to have opportunity to play their season and accomplish all the things they've been working for. But we're definitely taking it seriously. We know it's still out here, and we're hoping to be able to repeat like we did last year as far as getting through the season without any major issues.
Yeah, we got through it. Last year was probably the most joyless season we've ever had. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like it was all business all the time, and it was all COVID all the time. Because I get a phone call from a principal or my AD and being like, "Who now? Just tell me who. Is it a coach? Is it a kid? Who we missing?" So we're missing that right now. But I mean, we're still trying to be very vigilant in what we do and try to educate the kids and their parents. Like, remember what it used to be like eating lunch by yourself in the auditorium as a team. You can't eat with your girlfriend, or the JV eating lunch in the spread out 6 to 8 feet in the gyms. Like, we got to be careful. We got to be mindful. I know some ask questions about vaccination and stuff like that, and that's always up to our parent and everything. But we're not wearing masks yet here. It's not mandated, but they can wear a mask if they choose to. So I mean, there's a lot of precautions that they can take individually and as a team that we're trying to do. But man, I do not want to go through that again. Be honest with you, I'd rather. It just showed how much people love sports and how important sports are. And I think last year we lost a little bit of the team aspect because we couldn't do things as a team, like team dinners, team meetings, lift as a team, because we were so worried about the protocol. So we're starting to get some of that back. And so, like I told our parents at our kickoff party on Saturday that, we got a chance to kind of start over and do things anew and create our own new traditions because we didn't get to do anything last year. Not that I want to go overboard for stuff, but I want to make sure that we bring the joy back to what it is at Texas high school football and in our own football team here.
So speaking of bringing the joy back to Texas high school football, this Thursday night we kick it off, and it's time for a segment of this show that I'm pretty excited about. I'm gonna give Coach Williams credit. He was like, "How about we do this?" I was like, "This seems like a good idea here. I like this idea." So what we're gonna do is each week we're gonna do a pick'em, where I'm gonna pick 5 games in the Houston area that nobody else on here knows what games they are. So that's gonna be the fun part. This is gonna be kind of rapid fire, and then we'll pick them. And then our great producer, Josh W., he'll keep track of them throughout the season, make a graphic and everything. And we're going to see who the real top dog is at the end of the season. I don't know if we can get a trophy like Coach Williams has behind him for it. I don't know if that's in our budget, but,
you get us a ring. Neither of us have one of those yet. So they're not for football, but track. You got us in track, too. So.
Yeah, we'll get a ring or something. So let's get rolling on the pick-em. This is how we'll close each show. The first game kicks off Thursday night, and this one's a fun one. I'm going to go to this one. The back-to-back state champion Carthage Bulldogs make their way to New Kane Stadium to take on Crosby. So you get the defending state champs from last year. You get Crosby, which was in the state championship game last year. And, of course, Coach Williams knows about Crosby because they've met him in the playoffs. So, guys, Crosby versus Carthage Thursday night. Who wins that game?
I tell you what, if you don't mind me going first, Sean, I'll tell you the right answer so you can just go ahead and pick out for me. So.
Hey, I am not ashamed to admit that. No, a great matchup. Definitely great matchup. 2 state teams from previous year. I'll go with Carthage. I'll go with the tradition. They've been there many years and gotten it done, and they have definitely their tradition in place and moving forward. Hey, Crosby did a great job last year. They got us in the 4th round. I give them all the credit in the world. They were senior heavy last year, and we're not sure what they have coming back this year. So again, I'm sure they're hungry, just like we were when we didn't win, and they want to get back there to win the state championship again. So starting out the first week is important, but I'll go ahead and get that one to Carthage. Yeah, I concur with that one. Not because Coach Williams said that, because because I don't know. Watching Crosby last year, I know they were senior heavy and their dudes were the one they rallied behind. So I don't know what they had on the JV or coming up. Or I don't know much like that, but I still think it'll be talented. But Carthage is East Texas powerhouse. It don't matter the level. I think it's going to be close early, but I think Carthage will probably pull away.
All right, Dennis, your pick. We'll glued ourselves on these picks.
I'm going to pick Carthage too. Just coming off the year they had, Crosby was very senior heavy. I want to see some of those youngsters step up first and see what they've got there, but I'm picking Carthage.
Yeah, this is, Carthage won that game last year, the state game last year, I think 70-14 over Gilmer. It wasn't even close. It was just a pounding. Carthage has to come into Houston. Crosby's fans, Coach Williams knows, Crosby's fans show up with those cowbells and get going, and they're going to be loud. I think that's what I'm most excited about is having a full stadium the opening week because Carthage fans are going to travel like crazy. Crosby fans are going to travel like crazy. That's going to be a fun game. But I'm gonna have to go with Carthage. I think the Carthage Bulldog. I think they're too much. I think there's just too many questions on the Crosby offense because they have to replace Deniquez Dunn and that crew over there. And so I think I'm gonna go Carthage as well. So it's a clean sweep by Carthage according to the panel here on Pick'em. The next game is going to be Katy Paetow versus Barbers Hill. Carl Absek makes his way from Cedar Park, takes over a Barbers Hill program. BJ Gott over there at Paetow, maybe feeling a little something to prove because they didn't get to do it in the playoffs last year. So that's the next one, the Paetow Panthers and the Barbers Hill Eagles.
I'll go with this one. So I think the Paetow Panthers are one of the top 5A Division I teams in the area. I think Barbers Hill, they'll be excited. I think Coach Absek does a great job coming from Cedar Park, which I am very familiar with. I think there'll be some creative stuff, but I think they're just figuring it out over at Barbers Hill, and I think Paetow has it figured out, so I think there'll be a little bit much. Even though it was a very close game last year, I think that what they got returning and the style of play that Paetow does, I think they'll run away with that one too. My pick is Paetow.
I agree with Sean. Paetow's come on every year. Again, the school's been open for, I want to say 4 years now, maybe 5 years now, and they're getting better every single year. You got some good athletes over there with a great system. I believe Katy Paetow will get that game pretty easily.
I'm going to go with Paetow as well. In fact, one of the games I'm definitely looking forward to this year is Paetow and Coach McDowell's Foster Falcons. It was a good game last year. I expect another great game this year. But I think pretty much what Coach McDowell said, where Barbers Hill is figuring that out under Coach Absek, Paetow has it figured out. BJ Gott over there does a great job with his kids, and that same Katy High School throwback mentality works over there. So I'm going with Paetow.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with Paetow as well. First off, I think they have one of the cooler uniforms. That baby blue with the Air Jordan across the front is pretty cool. And plus they have a guy on the team named Michael Jordan. Come on. You can't bet against these guys. I think I agree with all of you. I think Carl Absek's going to do a great job at Barbers Hill. I think this is the first week. He's got to get the pieces put together. But I think Paetow is the more refinished product of the two, and I think Katy Paetow is going to come out and try to make a statement in the opening week and really show that they're a team to beat here in 2021. So again, it's a clean sweep, no controversy here. Either we're all going to be 5-0, or we're all going to be 0-5 next week. We don't know what it's going to be yet. So the next game, this one's interesting. Westfield takes on Strake Jesuit. So Strake Jesuit breaks in a kind of a younger quarterback. Westfield, they've got those pieces. A.J. Holmes on defense going to Virginia, and Cardell Williams going to Tulsa or Tulane. And so talk about that one. Westfield versus Strake Jesuit's the next one.
Okay, I'll take that one. Definitely good game there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is Coach's first year at Strake Jesuit as the head coach. Is that correct, or was it last year?
Yes. Yeah, this is the first year, yeah.
Yes, so there's going to be an adjustment there as well. They've done a great job over there for many years and what they're doing. But, there's always an adjustment. We talked about playing first games earlier in this the show today, and I think that there's always, a little curve there. With Westfield, they're rolling all cylinders. They're doing what they always do, first game out of the gate. The athletic ability they have over there at Westfield and the players you just mentioned, I'll go ahead and I'll choose Westfield for this one again, just because, again, this is usual for those guys, while Straight Jesuit's going to be trying to figure it out initially.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Westfield on this one. Not taking any away being straight, but I know Matt Meekins and Coach Hill, Stephen Hill over there. And from what I'm hearing, that defense is for real over at Westfield. And they're known for that kind of, D linemen. I think some of them cats are back. And then I think they're more of a wide open, spread them out offense, like maybe people not used to. I actually think Westfield might be a sleeper pick in 6A that people aren't talking about much because it's always North Shore KD and stuff like that.
Right.
CETA, but in spring, but I think that spring Westfield and spring game will be huge. But I got Westfield all over straight on this one. And I think it's not even going to be close. So I'm going with Westfield. Yeah,
I'm going to make it 3 for 3 going with Westfield, simply because, again, with new head coach, still figuring things out, his first game with the program. Westfield, that defense, I think Coach McDowell said everything that was right as far as I do think they're overlooked. I don't think they're getting enough attention. And I do think that defense is probably going to end up being one of the best in the state, in the city. I don't know, but they're going to be up there. But Westfield, I think right out of the gate is going to really open a lot of eyes.
So we got clean Westfield across the board so far. Westfield versus Straight Jesuit. I'm not going to bet against the Westfield team coming out of the gates. Their defense, like they mentioned, is so good. AJ Holmes and company. And I think from a couple of years ago, I saw Westfield play Dallas Jesuit at NRG Stadium, and I think they're probably one of the more harder hitting defenses that I've ever seen. I mean, they're going to hit you in the mouth, and then they're going to stand over you and remind you that they just hit you in the mouth. So I'm going to go with Westfield. I think Westfield's got the pieces. Cardell Williams at quarterback, defense. I think Cardell Williams is probably feeling it this year. He has to have a bigger year because he was huge coming out of his sophomore year, had kind of an okay junior season. Now he's back for a senior season, and I think he wants to make a statement. So I go Westfield as well. So far we're 3 for 3 on us all picking the same teams. The fourth game we're going to pick is the defending Class 6A Division II state champion Katy Tigers. Open the season against Clear Springs. So that's the next game. Katy versus Clear Springs.
Go with Katy Tigers, man. So I want to jump on that one quick. Here's another situation that we were just describing. New guy coming in from before, who had been at Clear Springs before, maybe doing some things differently. I mean, Katy's a force, and they're a tough out on anyone, especially for your first game. Before they were very similar in their styles of play. Not sure exactly what Clear Springs is going to bring to the table this year. But I don't see Katy losing this one, so I'm going to go with Katy.
I'll second that one with Sean. Just the program that Katy is just phenomenal, and the consistency that they've had for many of these years. I mean, you can arguably say, Coach Joseph is, the top head coach in the state of Texas. Sean McDowell's a close second right there.
A far second.
Hey, I gotta give you credit, brother. I gotta give you credit.
They're like 200 away.
But that's you can honestly say that they're as close to the machine as you can come with Katy, and I respect tremendously what they do with the kids they have year in and year out. And they don't have the top athletes that some other schools have that we've talked about already, but they perform and they take great teams and make them look average and bad. And so just a lot of respect for that Katy program, and Split Spring is going to do a good job like they always have. But I definitely will go with Katy on this one, and just pure ability to get their team ready and get their team ready to play, especially first game out of the gate.
I agree. I think Katy's got this one fairly easily. Last year was kind of the coming out party for Caleb Coger, the quarterback over there, and Seth Davis and some of those guys. So it'll be neat to see this time around just how much more developed and established they are, because they were pretty solid as sophomores. They're only going to get better as juniors. So Clear Springs, new head coach, we mentioned before. We don't know exactly what they're going to look like, but I think Katy's going to be, again, like Westfield, right out of the gate. They're going to be ready to go.
Yeah, another thing I'm not going to bet against is a Gary Joseph coach Katy Tiger team coming off a state championship year. He's got the pieces. He's got a young team. Clear Springs has got some pieces, but it's too many question marks for me. And I think I'm just interested in what they're going to have on their banner, Dennis, because for some reason Katy always has the most artistic banners to run out of in all of the city. So it's probably going to be something like Chasing Number 10 or something like that, because they're going to have state title number 10.
I think it's all in for 10 is their motto.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Credit the cheerleaders, by the way. The cheerleaders spend a lot of work on those banners and designs, and the community loves them. But I'm pretty sure their motto this year is all in for 10. So.
Okay.
I'm just trying to be all in.
right.
I'm just trying to do the first 2 words.
I like how Coach McDowell, when he ranked himself, he's like, I'm 200th. He didn't even put himself in the top 100 coaches.
So modest.
So modest.
Yeah.
So modest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to go with Katy Tigers to win that one. The final game, the nationally televised game of the weekend, Saturday night, over at Klein Memorial Stadium. Bridgeland Bears against Klein Kane Hurricanes. This one should be fun. Connor Wigman and company takes on Matthew Golden and company of Klein Kane. 8 o'clock kickoff, which is fun to do on a Saturday night.
Yeah, that's going to be a game. But go ahead, Sean. You can take that one, but I'll put the pressure on you, though.
Well, I played Klein Kane last year, so I seen it up close and personal. And they're a good football team. I think Coach Clancy is a heck of a football coach, and his staff does a great job. And Coach Clancy, he's not a very pretty guy, so his team is kind of ugly too. So kind of grimy. And that was a shot at Coach Clancy right there.
I hope he's not watching this.
Yeah. But I think Coach Bradfield and his team might be a little bit too much for Klein Kane. I know Klein Kane is missing a running back. But I think their team is rallied around. I saw them in 7-on-7. They're really good. I think their quarterback is special. But the Connor Wigman over at Bridgeland is one of the best quarterbacks in the area. And, I think he's going to be able to do some things. I think that Bridgeland has something to prove this year. Going in the deep playoff run last year. I just like what Bridgeland's bringing, and my heart is telling me Bridgeland. I hate to go against my boy Coach Clancy. Golly, I'm gonna go with Bridgeland on this one.
Well, Sean, I'm gonna do it, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and take Klein Kane. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do it.
All right, good. Let's get it.
Go over man Clancy. No, but
there you go.
Both head coaches are tremendous guys, and love them both. So 2 high character quality programs out there. Their teams are very well coached. They've done a great job, and both of them have opened up recently. And Klein Kane with the latest to open and start varsity. But I honestly, it's a toss-up. I really believe it's a toss-up. I really believe that both programs are going to be up to make deep playoff runs. But I'll go ahead and I'll go with Klein Kane. I'll go with Coach Klein, saying his guys. And yes, he is down as top running back. He's not going to play this year or this season, but they're going to figure out a way to get it done and get a win.
Yeah, talk about a toss-up game. There's a reason, I guess, this game's being broadcast on ESPN. But I think Klein Kane, I'm going to pick Klein Kane simply because I think those kids have a chip on their shoulder. I think there's people who they don't have Jadon Blue, and people are saying, oh, well, then, Klein Kane's done. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think they're going to take that and use that as fuel and motivation. Bridgeland is awesome. I have tremendous respect for Coach Bradfield over there. Connor Wigman, probably the best quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the state, obviously. I just think Klein Kane has that extra chip. They have that extra motivation and drive, and I think people are going to underestimate them because they are without a star. And I think they have enough kids and enough talent to make up for that and to prove that they're still a force to be reckoned with. So I'm gonna pick Klein Kane.
So we have 2 for Klein Kane, 1 for Bridgeland, and I agree with everything you just said, Dennis, about this Klein Kane team coming into this season, probably playing maybe a little bit ticked off because when the Jadon Blue stuff hit, a lot of people just wrote Klein Kane off. That was it. Like, you lost Jadon Blue, that's your whole season. It's over. He's like, we're not even talking about Matthew Golden or Carson Roper or Lukia Rawls on the defensive side of the ball. Connor Wigman is a phenomenal athlete. He's just phenomenal. I just think Bridgeland just lost quite a bit on the offensive side of the ball, his weapons that he has, because he can do so much. I think their defense is going to be interesting as well to start. They're going to score points, but I'm going to go with you and Coach Williams. I think Klein Kane wins this nationally televised game at their home stadium on Saturday night. Connor Wigman will still put on a show, but yeah, I think this Klein Kane team is going to come out with a little extra fire underneath their belt.
Well, there you go.
So
great pick.
I'm either going to be behind or ahead.
Yeah.
Hey, we had to break it at some point.
Yeah,
The only thing that matters is 2-0, right? And that's the 2 victories I got against Coach Williams. So.
That's it.
Oh.
Right. And I can't do anything about it. You're right.
We'll negotiate. We'll negotiate a non-district.
Let's do it.
Home. We'll work on that throughout this season. But
hey, I've been avoiding Sean for years.
Get back to you on that.
All right. Well, hey, that is going to conclude our first episode of the Coach's Corner with Coach James Williams and Coach Sean McDowell, of course, Dennis Silva II, and myself for VYPE Media. There's a lot of fun. We'll do this every single week. We'll do pick'ems throughout the week, and eventually, at some point, we'll get to the state championship games, and we'll see if both Coach McDowell and Coach Williams will be joining us, or if one will be in AT&T Stadium, and we'll be watching them play for a state championship come December. But it's going to be a lot of fun up until then, guys, and we appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy Monday schedules to do this weekly with us here at VYPE.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to do our best to get you 2 guest hosts for the state championship week so we can go ahead and handle business, Sean.
No doubt.
That's right.
No doubt.
I think we're going to have some holes that week.
There you go. But again, it's a true honor, and we truly appreciate it. We look forward to the season.
Got it. Thank y'all.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you. Check us out every week on the Coach's Corner here on VYPE.com.